Hi everyone, MJ Klein here. We're in the studio here on Taiwan Live TV, and it's been quite a while since we actually, did like a green screen broadcast. It's great. And we have, we can see we have our comments here down below. Thanks to PRISM Live Studio PC version. This is great. What a fantastic app. Oh, I love this thing. It works so well. And it enables you to go live and, do whatever it is that you got to do. All right, so let me know, because I just want to make sure everything is functioning okay. And we actually have audio. I'm using my wide-angle camera, and I have, a lot of people don't know this, but for those of you who have been in the studio here at Phoenix Media Forge, that would be Dave in Osaka, Casper. I can't think of anyone else that you might know offhand, but there's a huge, the green screen's about 2 meters behind me. 2 meters wide. And I just wanted to, hook it back up. It's been a while. I had to make some adjustments to the lighting because I've rearranged things so much. And I just feel in a festive mood. I wanted to wear my batik. So how's everyone doing? And I'm so glad that this, my goodness, look at the, the chat box. This is fantastic. Supposedly, the other platforms, if you can bring in, they'll also burn to the screen. But I'm not burning those to the screens because I'm not broadcasting on any other platform right now except YouTube. So I have my teachers, Highland Cream Scotch, and something the other day, whenever I go on the air, my lips get dry and I end up going, I hate that. And I just love my big condenser mic here with the wonderful large capsule. Now, I thought about having Periscope on in the background, with my mobile phone sitting over here like this, but I decided not to do it. I just don't want to have to pay attention. So please let us know. I don't think we have that many joining us on YouTube at the moment, but that's okay because I don't always have a great deal of viewers like right, at the beginning. So I do have a little bit down here in the corner on this side, a little bit of tearing, I guess. It's let me see. It's probably because of the light. Dave in Osaka, how are you? Nice to have you with us. Thanks so much. Yeah, trying to get the. It's always a thrash getting the green screen. Perfect. I got some lights I can put. I got like a little wand light, I can put it over here and stuff, but it just doesn't make that much difference. I like it better up here. So how you doing, Dave? All right, and so how's the audio? Because I'm using PRISM PC, the desktop version, and it seems like a pretty nice app. I haven't actually gone live with this, I don't think, ever, so excellent. All right. So I guess you can hear me. Excellent. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. Well, here it is, man. The big tube mic. And I did, it's too bad that, the HAPS broadcast that we did the other night didn't actually work out so good because, that would have been great. And, because I did do some, tests with it. I was flipping the pattern switch around because I'd moved the mic and it's kind of off axis, and I wanted to, to take a look at that. Now, let me just explain something what's going on here. I'm going to do this just for a second. I thought it would be nice if we did this. I have done so many hundreds of broadcasts, but, compared to other streamers like Dave and others, hey, Bernardo, how you doing, man? Nice to have you with us. Fist bump to you, too. I'm going to do this. I'm going to move this. Okay, so I'm going to talk while I do this. The I've compared to Dave and some of the other great streamers, I haven't done as many broadcasts, but I think I've got somewhere around 300 on YouTube. Of course, what you're seeing now is screen caps from Periscope, and I thought it'd be nice to have our new logo, you know, and because, you know, I had redone these the artwork at the beginning of this year. Hey, Ken, how are you? Nice to have you with us. And I'm going to put this up just a little bit more. I just want to make sure that we have everything completely, because I'm just setting this up again. Okay, you'll see that I'm moving the chat box a little bit. There you go. So what I thought I would do is go ahead and put some of the featured. Jan, how are you? Nice to have you with us. I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, I've been worried about you because we haven't seen you, and I know things have been kind of hectic with some of the different experiments and platforms that we've been doing. But I thought I would put, you know, in the background with the new Taiwan Live TV artwork that we started this year, and, you know, just a new era, kind of get rid of the old stuff. And then I've got a slow slideshow going in the background, and the slow slideshow is a lot of the live streams, you know, that we've done over the years. And I was looking through them, I was like, wow. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of forget what I do. I'm always thinking about the next thing. You know, it's like, it was that way all the time with records. I would, gosh, I remember one time I was listening to WBCN radio, and I heard this record come on. I was like, wow, man, that thing sounds really cool. And I called up the radio station and said, who is that? And they said it was a so-and-so band. And I said, could you look at the back of the record and see who engineered it? And they said, yeah, you did, dummy. I'm like, oh, because I forgot. I do that all the time. And so I, you know, same with the live streams. It's not that I forget about you guys. I mean, I love you guys, and I remember the conversations and things that we have, but I just forget about some of these things that we did. Like, for example, this one right here. I'm gonna cut my camera off again. This is a live stream that I did from the Shimen Dam exclusively on Periscope back in the days when Periscope was, you know, we thought it was going to be around forever. And it was, and it still is, a technologically fantastic app. I really wish that Twitter would sell it and somebody would buy it and become a good custodian of it, because I think it still is viable. But I mean, look at this. Even with the 420p resolution that Periscope originally had, I mean, this is pretty nice. This is a screen cap off the PC that I did, you know, playback version. And look at that. That's a Shimen Dam here in Taiwan. The reservoir's on the right. You see the sluice gates in the middle. And then this next one, we called it the Pigs of God. I did this in 2016, and it says August 13th. You see why I date? I date all my streams, virtually. So down in the bottom in Chinese, it says Sa Zhu Gong, which means literally public pig killing, basically. But those are pigs. The circles in the center with the black, the white, and the red, those are pigs that are stretched out and their heads are down the bottom. And I did a pretty interesting, although somewhat controversial, live stream about that. And some people were complaining, but I don't know what to tell you. People sometimes just like to complain. I don't know. But this program is working really, really well. And I'll tell you what I do. Let me do this. If you guys want, just to make the background a little more cleaner, I'll just take the Taiwan Live TV out, because I think you guys know it's Taiwan Live TV. Usually I have it up in the corner, you know, and I have my sponsor in the other corner. And so I do have an announcement, and it's no big deal, but my arrangement with ivideo.com.tw has come to an end. The contract has come to an end, and so we're not going to renew it for next year, but they still are a very good company. And I've been talking to them. I got to find out if they're going to still honor the code, you know, and keep the affiliate link that I have in like 300 some videos. active, which I think they should. I think it would be dumb if they don't. I'm willing to leave it. It's free advertising. All they have to do is just not take it down. And if they do that, then, yeah. Now this one here, this is interesting. I didn't really expect, I just put a bunch of these in here. I didn't really expect to go talking about them, but that's me sitting at a table. This is actually in my neighborhood. This is one of the Mid-Autumn festivals. And I'm careful about, celebrating holidays and things like that I don't want to get involved with necessarily. But these guys were just hanging out. And what I did was I brought my tripod with me and my gimbal, and I walked around the neighborhood that time. That was, of course, again in 2016, and it was in September. And so it's the Mid-Autumn Festival, and that was a nice time. I know most of those guys in the neighborhood. They're a lot of fun, and we hang out a lot. And they all know me because I've been in this neighborhood for I'm just doing something in the background. I lived in this neighborhood for 14 years, I think. So they all know me by now. But I want to do something just because it's cool, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Coco, also known as Val, and I live in North Carolina. Yes, I am in the Carolinas. And I just want to welcome you because you are on Late Night with MJ Klein.
There you go. Now, sorry about the hum. The hum was on the original audio. What I need to do is I need to run that through RX8 now because since I've been working on my studio, I've got a lot more audio processing tools at my disposal than I used to. I could do all kinds of dialogue matching, and I could take multiple sources of audio recording on different type microphones and in different environments and match the whole things up. So anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? I mean, usually I just sit here, I'm facing the other way. See that this is the green screen behind me. Now when I'm here live in the studio, I usually have my mobile phone and I'm sitting this way. I'm looking that way towards the green screen, and you guys see behind me, you see the console and you see the the studio part. But now this time I'm facing the studio and the consoles, and I actually move things around. I had my consoles before at a 90-degree angle, and now what I've done is I took the analog console, put it over here, and then I swapped the digital console, so now they're in line, and I have a much more coherent monitoring environment, which is something that I wanted to do. All right, so here we go. Take my little drink. Now I wanted to show you something because it's pretty obvious. 2020 is gone. 2020 sucked. Nobody really had a good time, not to speak of. And it's just that, this thing ain't going away for a while. And so what it comes down to is how do you deal with it? And in Taiwan is, we've been talking about this for months. I'm not going to talk about the response, but what's going on now is that there are more and more companies coming out with products that have to do with management, COVID-19 management. And even in here, like in 7-Eleven, now there's all kinds of little accessories and things. I posted on Instagram, Taiwan Live TV Instagram, and also Taiwan Live TV Twitter. I posted a picture of, it looks like a piece of chocolate. It's from a chocolate company. It looks like a chocolate wrapper, but it is in fact a mask minder. You open it up, you can put your mask in it. Now, Phoenix came home today, and she got this. I want to show you this. This is I know, we're talking about COVID-19. I'm touching my face. I'm home in my studio, so, but got an itchy nose, and hey, it's, it's live TV, so what am I going to do? I can mute the mic, or I can turn off the camera, but this is a children's 3D mask, they call it, and the nose piece is at the top. I'm not going to open it because she hasn't used it yet, but this is what they call a 3D mask for a kid, see? and the nose band is up on top. So tomorrow morning when she goes to school, she's going to open this up and then press it on her nose. So, well, we thank you very much, Jan. We really appreciate that. And I hope the comment lag isn't too great. This app does have a separate standalone pop out for the chat, but I turned it off because it blocks the screen. And this way, I can still see I can see it coming in on the, of course, on the chat box. I like this. I think it looks good. Now, just one thing before I talk about this anymore, one thing I want to ask you guys, because it's really easy to do. Do you like the chat on this side, or do you want it on this side? Because when I'm streaming live with a mobile phone, it's on this side, right? But it's either way. When I used to do my studio stuff a couple of years ago, I would always have it on this side. I don't know why, but it doesn't really matter. So anyway, here's what I wanted to show you. Here is this little strap, and the camera has an infinite lens. I can't focus it, but there's a snap here on the inside, and there's a snap here. So you can either snap it like this, or snap just this little bit down here, and it goes around the. I don't have my other mask. It goes around the ear bands. Okay, thanks, Ken. It goes around the ear bands, you see, on the on the mask. And so what you don't want to do is, I'm not going to unstrap this right now, unsnap, because Phoenix is going to use it. But it's for adults, it's kind of too small. You see what I mean? So what you do is you put it around your neck, and then you snap it on. Now, if you guys remember, quite a while ago, I had made a thing that went around my neck. It had two little clips on it, and I would clip it to the bottom of the mask. And this thing hooks onto the onto the ear loops, which is pretty cool. So, I sent one of my viewers some of the COVID-19 mask minder technology, and yeah, I got a nice note back and pictures. It was funny. And so if you guys want some of these things, I'd be more than happy to go down to 7-Eleven and grab them. I think they're about in US dollars, I think they're about $1.75 or something for the strap with the but I'm telling you, listen, those of you who have any kind of manufacturing capability, there's a market for dealing with this stuff. I just came up with a design for it, and I have been researching this because in Taiwan they're all over the place. These personal shields that you put up like on a table. You sit down with your friends and you put it, a kind of a clear plastic shield, and it can go around, and they make different configurations. So it might be one person here and then other person like that. It might be like like if you can imagine like this, like two U's or something together. I know it's hard for me to do. And I came up with a design for a brand new one. Nobody's ever done it. And so I'm going to be talking with my factory boss and see what he thinks, because we have all the resources here to do this in Taiwan. And boy, it would make people's lives a lot better. It'd make them a lot safer. And ultimately, it's okay to make money, but you have to come up with a product, in my opinion, that's going to help people rather than, like, I wouldn't want to make a new design for a crack pipe. Okay. That's what I'm saying. This broadcast behind me right here, this one I did down in Kaohsiung, and I remember it's during Chinese New Year. Gosh, that must have been 3 or 4 years ago. I had gone to the Cowboy Bar, and you guys know that because I streamed in the Cowboy Bar, a dozen times. And I had my 360 camera with me, and I mounted it on top of my gimbal. So at the same time that I was live streaming to YouTube, I actually recorded 360 with the same gimbal. So I was looking at the same things, and the movements of the camera were identical. It's just that one was in 360. And the camera that I have doesn't actually stream. It's interesting because I can connect it to Google Maps, and I can use my phone. Hey, Matthew, fist bump to you. Nice to see you, bro. Thanks for joining on YouTube. This. Let me take a side note here. This really shows me that I think YouTube is where my audience is. I know that all of you look at Periscope, but I think you prefer the space that is YouTube. Now, I know Dean doesn't like YouTube. He doesn't like the YouTube interface. I can understand that. But by and large, I'm very happy with the YouTube platform. Well, of course, they don't demonetize me because I'm not monetized. I'm not going to be. I don't do anything political for them to pull down, and I know there's that thing going on. But technologically, I think it's fine, and it is geared towards replays is what I'm trying to say. Okay, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate the candor. Let me move this. I'm gonna do this a little bit different here. Let me just do this. I'm playing with, see, this is the first time that I've used this PRISM style chat box. So let me move this over a little bit like this. And I just want to make sure that it's completely in the frame. Yeah, okay, let me do this. I just made it a touch bigger. I know I'm being kind of what we say Guimao in Chinese, but there you go. I think, see, it's the line breaks, because like if you see where Matthew says I don't like YouTube, but it's what works best, and it goes the W for works is cut off, and it doesn't seem to want to break at the proper word. I don't know why. Anyway, so now I've kind of completely forgotten what I was talking about. Oh, but I was talking about that. Let me go back live on the camera because that slide is gone. But what happened was the 360 camera that I have is made by LG. It's only 2K, which is pretty good. It doesn't live stream. It does have Wi-Fi connectivity, so I can connect it to my phone, and I can go to places. You know how, like on Google Maps, there are many of those 360 photos, and many of the 360 photos are not done by Google. They're done by people, just like you and me, who have a 360 camera, and so I can walk around. Google Maps will actually show me, if I ask them, places that need 3D photos in my neighborhood or wherever I am, and I can just walk there and hold up my camera and go from my phone. It's pretty convenient, but I can't live stream with it. But what I did do with that stream that it was from the, what they call it, the Reichi, I forget, and it's one of the night markets in Kaohsiung, and in fact I was able to upload the 360 video there. So I do have some 360 videos on TaiwanLive.tv or Taiwan Live TV YouTube channel. They're not 100% live stream. Most of them are. I did a 3-part series because the 360 camera only records 20 minutes at a time. So I'm sitting there looking at my watch every couple of minutes and making sure that, when it goes off, I got to start it again manually. But I took a double-decker bus ride in Kaohsiung around the city, and it's in 3 20-minute segments. And I live streamed it again at the same time that I recorded it. And if you have, a VR, it's not stereo. I did do some stereo. That's another story. If you have VR, you can pop it into your VR and just sit back and look around and see Kaohsiung. It's pretty nice. And the camera records nicely too. It records in 3D. There's space. It's a spatial recording. But about my venture into 3D has been very disappointing. Oh, so you did see it? Okay, good, excellent. I bought from, and of course you guys heard me, blasting Kula 3D a couple of months ago about their app and stuff, and It took a year for me to get it. In the meantime, they lowered the price, and they did not give me the price decrease. I mean, these people just don't know how to make money, but the whole point is they got development money to do it, so they didn't actually have to earn the money. So anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But I did do a couple of side-by-side stereo live streams on YouTube, and I call it, SBS 3D, one word. That's kind of like the hashtag SBS 3D, side-by-side 3D. And I think I talked with Alex Pettit. I don't know if you guys remember him. Back in the day, I talked with Alex Pettit on Periscope, and he's pretty sure that the 3D that I did on Periscope was the first 3D that had ever been done. And I did a night market in my town. That night market that used to exist down the street, you guys probably remember, used to go there and get a steak and some draft beer on Thursday night and sit there and hang out and show people. It's really small, but a nice family, hometown evening night market. And what I liked about it is that pretty much everybody knew me and they knew what I was doing, so they were cool about not coming up and interrupting me and stuff. They were just like this. They saw me and oh no, you're on live stream. That was pretty cool. So I think my new sponsor is Teacher's Highland Cream, because I really like this whiskey. And the whole thing is just everything in moderation, right? Don't drink too much, because it's not good for you. So, all right. We'll be back after this.
Hello, my name is Ken Rod, and you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein.
And that's our friend Ken Rod. If you guys run across Ken Rod in your travels, be sure to follow him. And we've got a lot of people here that you really should follow, and especially Dave, who is an avid live streamer. And Dave's been doing some really amazing things. And he did, in addition to the Viper liquor, he did a special Kit Kat edition, excuse me, that was kind of, can we say it was ruined by by the platform? We'll say so. Can that whiskey bottle hook me up to some free Wi-Fi? Well, I'll tell you what it can do. It can make you not really care about it. I mean, it can make you feel good about whatever your signal is now. So, I mean, my signal should be good. I'm running about, sure it can, of course, bro. You can go insane on bit rates, right? When I set this thing up, it asked me, did I want to go 6,000 bits, and I was like, no. I'm running right now. I got, listen to this, I got about 8% of my CPU running, and this is nice because at the bottom of the app, it gives you the whole rundown. I'm running 720p. I don't need 1080, and it'll do 4K, but my word, why would you want to do that? 720p at 30 frames a second. I've got, right this second, 8.0% of CPU running, so the thing's running. So I could probably do a Reaper DAW session and record a band at the same time. Frame drop is 0, but I'm only running like 2140 to 2150 kbps. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see a need to do any higher than that. And really, the cool thing is that there's a pull-up, and it gives you even greater resources. I'm doing like a 21.4 kilobytes per second. I set it at, not much at all. See, that's the thing. You really don't need all that much. It depends on how smooth you need things. I mean, if I'm going like this, okay, but who cares about that? So I'm not gaming, so I'm not, doing like a race car or something like that on a track. I'm just a guy, in front of a mic talking, which is pretty much what I do. So, it shows me how much storage space I have left, and my memory usage. and the drop rendering frame is 0.1%. Drop encoding frame is 0.0%. Dropped network frame is 0.0. I've got on the rendering frames, I'm showing like 212,000 rendering frames. It's dropped to 122. But on the encoding frames, there's 57,000 plus, and the network frames 57,000 plus. I haven't dropped any frames at all. So yeah, you really don't need as much as you might think. I mean, I've always in streaming to YouTube, I've always run at 720p. I think that's just adequate, for what I do, and it takes a lot more bandwidth, and I think it's not a very good trade-off until 5G becomes very viable, and around this neighborhood it's not going to be. They told me it's going to be at least a year. Some of the major places in like downtown Jubei, where that's all the money is. Remember I was telling you guys a couple weeks ago that this area down here has the richest people in Taiwan, in Jubei. So I have not, but I have now. It's over here. It's always backwards. It's over here. So I'm gonna check it out. So definitely, I'll check it out. Thing is I gotta tell you, I am ecstatic. I am so happy with PRISM live streaming that it's not funny. I mean, these guys really know what they're doing. And another thing that I really like about them is that I have their ear. I can send the devs an email. I can express, my feelings about, what I think they should do, and requests for things, and they take them seriously, and they write me back. I mean, Periscope did that once or twice, and then after that they started ignoring me. They just figured I'm probably a pain in the neck, because I tried to build, Taiwan Live TV, the website around Periscope playbacks. I mean, look at every single thing that you see behind you. I think only one of them is a broadcast, maybe two, but all these, I mean, you can tell because you can see like over here, that's a Periscope title, okay? And sometimes you'll see down in this corner, you'll see the Periscope chat box, and you'll see the number of viewers, beside it. Definitely Periscope. Almost all this stuff is Periscope. And so we all thought it would be around forever, and we all loved it and used it a lot, and some people were on it 3 and 4 and 5 times a day, but there's no way to embed it. I was using iframe. I bought some high quality screen capturing software because these are my broadcasts, and I was capturing them and putting them on my own website when they came out with that famous new terms of service that your stuff, you own it, but you can't do anything with it because it's on our platform. And so at that point, I knew the handwriting was on the wall. And then there were a couple guys, I'm not going to name any names, who were routinely doing that. They had iPhones and they had Mac computers, and all you got to do is just plug the Mac computer into the iPhone. You can record anything off it. And this is back before Catch came out, and they only had the 24-hour limit. So these guys were doing all this stuff, and they were posting everything on YouTube. And then the YouTube, the Periscope TOS changed, the terms of service changed, and it's strictly illegal, can't do anymore. The guys kept doing it, nothing happened to them. I was like, wow, that's okay. You're taking a chance there. And these were prominent streamers, and if they were gonna lose their account, it would have been a big deal, but they didn't. So some of that stuff is, on there. Some of the stuff of mine from Periscope is on my Taiwan Live TV YouTube channel, but it's because I recorded it and placed it there before the terms of service. And, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't believe that they can make their terms of service retroactive. Now, we're going to see something interesting, because here's the other thing. if you guys remember when Catch was around, many of us signed up for Catch to keep our live streaming content from Periscope active. Because at one time, Periscope only had 24 hours retention, then he deleted it. And then Catch didn't. But Catch had, you want to call it a front end or a back end. I mean, they really, you had an account and you could set up an RSS feed, okay, which means that you can have a blog, and every time you did something new, it would automatically be presented on the blog or on some other website. In addition to that, you can make playlists, and you could add anyone that you wanted on Catch into your playlist, and their new streams would automatically be added to your playlist. And the playlists had RSS feeds, which means that you could say like, oh, okay, here's my, you could do a website. That's basically what I did with Taiwan Live TV, because I also had AsiaLive.tv, and I've taken it down. But I own the domain Asia Live TV because I already had arrangements with all the famous Asian scopers and through Catch. And I said, I would like to have a website where people could comment on it and develop a community around your live streams. And I don't want any money for it. I just want to do it because I think it's fun. And so I, took all my favorite live streamers and put them into a playlist. And I'll tell you right now, Dave was one of them, and Rebecca was another one, because Rebecca's in Hawaii, and that's considered part of Polynesia. Technically, I'm just, I'm stretching it because I wanted content. And so, for example, I had those two added to a playlist. And every time they made a stream, pow, it went to my site. I paid for software that would blow that into a post and take the image and everything. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. 7:30. Yeah, I know it's pretty early there. Thank you. Now, we always have fun when you're here, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you, I guess. Let's see. I have to look. What's today? Yeah, I'm too stupid to know if Thursday's going to be the new year or not. Okay, I guess I'll see you New Year. It's late here, man. It's almost midnight. Thank you so much. So, oh, look, there's a broadcast. See, this is when I had Nate on. And we can talk about the crap storm that I got from broadcast too, and kind of equate it to what's going on with HAPS. But I guess I don't want to get into that because I've already kind of discussed it with some of my friends and sort of got it off my chest already. But anyway, so Catch was so great because, of the automation. And I bought some specific software that would parse all those things. It would parse the RSS feed. It would put a new WordPress post with the video perfectly embedded in a player. And then, anybody could log on could sign up, because you don't want anonymous comments because of spam. But, like with a lot of those websites, how I had it set up was all you had to do is use your email address, and it would not be published. You can, leave comments and messages for your favorite live streamers on those live streams. And then they killed Catch. And then the next day, Periscope announced, okay, we're not going to have a 24-hour limit anymore. We're going to have an unlimited limit. And that's when I tweeted, somebody got married the next day after they buried their dead wife. Harsh, I know. But the inventor of Catch gave me a heart on that tweet. Oh, there's just been so much that's gone on. I mean, these last 5 years have just been crazy. The developments and things that have been going on, and how we see all the changes and everything. And it remains to be seen what's going to go on with Twitter Live, because it's taken them all this time to get it going. And I think the nature of live streaming is changing. Years ago, it wasn't really a prediction, it was obvious, but years ago, I specifically stated that one of the greatest uses for live streaming broadcasting is to sell things. Okay. Now, Naver, the company that owns Line, L-I-N-E, the Line app, they're the ones that own PRISM. They're a multi-billion-dollar Korean company. And one of the things that they are supporting strongly is selling with live streaming. Now, this is an app that we have in Taiwan called Shopee, okay? And it's kind of funny because it's a play on words. In Chinese, it's shrimp skin. So it's like Shopee, but it's supposed to be like Shopee, S-H-O-P-E-E, right? There's a whole section on live streaming. And so if you press on the live streams, okay, then it opens up a browser that shows you everybody that's on right now for live streaming, okay? And every one of these people is selling something. They're all selling stuff. And so, for example, this person, there's 91 people looking at this. This is a woman who looks like, I think it's a woman, hasn't loaded yet. Looks like she's selling, she's selling pocketbooks, okay? We call these bao bao in Chinese. Now look, she's just standing there, and she's got all these bao bao behind her, and each one has a number on it. It's hard to see because it's washed out. Each one has a number on it. So people are saying, okay, what about number 2? And she'll pick it up and show it. And this app is so fantastic. Look, when you want to switch, you just go like this. This is so amazing. It's just like a rotary, like a revolving door. And there's people selling all kinds of stuff on here. There's a guy that actually shucks oysters and pops pearls out of them live. That was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. But speaking of pearls, here's a woman selling, selling some pearl necklaces and other jewelry items. And all you got to do is just go like this to the different. This is fantastic. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only use for live streaming, but I am saying that it is a fantastic application for selling. And you see that too because years ago, a lot of people had pre-recorded stuff. Like in the United States, there was a guy, Crazy Eddie, and he would walk around and go, "Oh yeah, this is $10 and this is $3," but it was all pre-recorded, so they couldn't live stream it. But today we can. So we could say, okay, well, I got this item for sale, and you could even do an online auction and things like that. So commerce is a huge aspect. But not only that, this is broadcast. This is from Taipei 101. People complained about this broadcast so much that I wanted to throw my phone off the 95th floor because I just was tired of hearing people say, it's not Periscope. It's not Periscope. If I recall, I actually had to tell people, would you please stop talking about Periscope or I'm going to turn off the broadcast. Okay. Now that I've got that out, it's not that you can just sell things, but the interaction with people is so important in live streaming. It's just like right now. You guys are talking amongst yourselves, and that's fine. And you're talking to me, and that's fine. But I think, I don't really know. Nobody knows. But I think Twitter Live, I think that they thought that they would have like sports leagues, sports teams, and news outlets, CNN or whatnot, that would broadcast live, to Twitter. But why would they do that? They just broadcast live on their own platform. And you don't need live streaming for that. Because look, everything is streaming. You watch a video on YouTube, whether it's live or not, it's streaming. Streaming is just the delivery. It's just packets in a stream going to you. What we're talking about is live interaction. That's what people mean when they say live streaming. I miss broadcast too. I especially miss the voice comments. Boy, that was so cool. But now that I've got the PRISM desktop app, and it's working really nice. I'm going to start bringing in like Skype. I can bring a Skype window in. I can bring you guys on, and we can have a nice discussion. Oh, by the way, is anybody wearing earbuds, stereo earbuds? Just let me know. I want to check something out in a minute. But if you're wearing stereo earbuds at the moment, please let me know so I can do that. I got a little bit of green screen spill, but I don't really care. So, it's another periscope. This one here, you know, I did from Jubei at the Magic Touch. And this, believe it or not, is one of those, like the bullet train things, right? Where they got the bullet train sushi delivery stuff. And I got to tell you, I got like, altogether, it's like replays. I got like 500 some replays on this. Pretty big for me. So, okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. And I got my my effects returns here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my effects returns on this bus. Okay, they're here. They're on this bus. So let me try this, okay? Tell me if you hear this. I am going to add some reverb to my voice and see if okay. And what I'd like for you to do is tell me, especially with the echo. Matthew says, no buds. Can hear a drip. I used to do sound effects. That should be in stereo. What a lot of like FM radio stations used to do is they would put like this. They would put a small. I'm gonna turn this off. Did you hear it in stereo? Did you hear it going back and forth? They would put a small, like a chorus on this, you see? You know, I got tons of them. Tons of chorus, tons of different types of effects, including pitch changing and so forth. This is a chorus. If I just hold a note, you'll hear like a, you can hear it's a subtle form of flanging. But that gives it kind of a depth, and a lot of FM radio stations used to do that. Most FM stations that I had been associated with it in the past only had a single mic, and then they would just process that into some kind of stereo effect on the return. But I actually saw a station in Greensboro that had 2 condenser mics, and I remember one of the jocks, I was there, and he was talking, and he's like, so the weather tomorrow will be blah, blah, blah. And he's going back and forth between the 2 mics. I said, what are you doing, man? And he says, I'm just giving him something to, listen to in the car going down the road to go back and forth between the speakers. So Ken, you should be able to hear that in stereo. Let's do this, though. I got all this stuff. I got like 60 different types of effects, and there's this is a stereo flanger, and this is kind of like dynamite with a laser beam, that kind of sound, right? And what I probably should do is turn the I should probably turn the returns up a little bit higher to get it. So there you go. And all right, so let me do this. I'm gonna let me turn this down. One of my favorites is the you hear that? I'm putting my acoustic panels in tomorrow. There's a rotary speaker on here, but one of the things that I wanted, and there's some multi-effects that have either 2 or 3 effects all together. But what I wanted you to hear is, let me see, it's down here towards the end, Stereo Imager, Edison, Sound Maxer. This is the dual pitch shifter. Okay, now the dual pitch shifter, if I put it in, this is what you can do to make your vocals wide. But at the same time, if I go like this, I can change these by semitones. So I can take, like, for example, the left ear, and I can push it way down like this, you see. And then the right ear, I can push it up like this.
So now I have actually 3 different voices. I've got my center, my regular voice in the center, and I've got on the left side the low one, and the right side the high one. So you can actually make like a chord. You see? Now, it doesn't follow. In other words,
You can't say that I'm trying to make like a major or minor triad and have it change the intervals. But the TC Helicon Voice Live Touch 2 can. And I got one of those over there. So this is okay. Let me just leave this on just a little bit to make it a little bit wider and more interesting. And here is a room delay just to give it kind of a space. So it sounds like you're in a room, okay? And there we go. Can leave it like that for a minute just for the fun of it. I think it's too much, but we'll be back after this.
Hi, this is Rob Ebner, and you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein.
I love it. Listen, if you guys want to send me a, excuse me, I'm sorry, burping on air. If you want to send me a bumper, all you got to do is say whatever you want. Hey, you're on Late Night or welcome to Taiwan Live TV or whatever you want. You can send it to latenight@taiwanlive.tv. latenight@taiwanlive.tv. And I would appreciate it. I'll edit it a little bit if necessary, and we'll put it on the air. I'm not liking that pitch shifter so much. I just kind of just like the room. I think the room is better. Sounds more like well, it's kind of funny because I worked kind of hard with the mass dampener here. I got dampening back there and on the sides, to try to make the space better and less reflective for mixing and so forth. And now here I am adding reverb to the room to make it sound like it's in a big chamber. So yeah, what I'm going to have to do is go back and listen to this on YouTube later and make sure that it is in stereo. But I am configured for stereo, and I'm using, 2 channels on it. So it should be. It always was when I was using SLOBS. So, all right. Did I cover everything? Anyway, what I'm going to do is, when I do my next studio show, I'm going to prepare some more photos and videos of things that I've been wanting to show you for some time. And I have showed some of them on my mobile phone, oh, Dave, you asked me a question. I'm sorry. You asked me how many bits, and I think you mean audio bits. I'm running it, at 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. It's supposed to be. It might be 16-bit. It doesn't actually say, but my console runs at 24-bit. But I don't know. It may be downscaled. What I have to do, I have done some recordings, because the app does record too. And what I can do is I can just run the audio through one of my analyzers and figure out if it's 24-bit or 16-bit. But I'm running at 48 kilohertz because I like that bit rate. So anyway, did I find out about the place next to Win Wins? Yeah, the guy's on vacation. He wanted to take some time off. And yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because if you guys remember, when that place first opened, it was a Taiwanese lady who was running it. I thought she was Vietnamese. I didn't know. And I talked to her one day. It turns out she's from Hualien. She's Taiwanese. I'm like, wow. Because everybody else at Win-Wins is Vietnamese. She only has one person working for her that's Taiwanese. It's the guy. And I'm not really sure what he does, but he kind of just started going there, and I got himself a job, and he's been there the whole time. So that's when, if you recall, Win-Win asked me how to translate something from Chinese into English, and I told her what she wrote was fried chicken. And it's what we call in English or in Chinese we call it the xiang ji pai, and the ji pai is like a flattened piece of chicken, like a chicken breast has been flattened. Most of the bones are removed except around the edge, and they dip it in some kind of batter and they deep fry it, and it's pretty good. It's famous in Taiwan. And it's funny because they call it a pie in Chinese, which is kind of what we call in English, like chicken pie. Like you go to McDonald's and you want the apple pie, you just say pingguo pie. Pingguo means apple. Anyway, so it's chicken pie. And so I just said real quick, I just said fried chicken. And then I thought about it, and I wrote to her and I wrote to her, and the conversation we're having is in Chinese. I don't know any Vietnamese, and she doesn't know any English, but we have Chinese in common. So I wrote back on my phone, I said, sorry, more accurately, the English translation is deep fried chicken. And then she said, okay, thank you. I don't know, I thought she was talking to a customer or something, right? A couple of weeks later, I look up and there's a sign that says deep fried chicken on the outside her place. I'm like, I said, come over here. I said, this, you made this because of what I said, right? The translation. He said, yeah. And I said, if I'd have known you were going to make a sign, I would have, done something a little more grandiose and a little bit more, appropriate to having a sign. And she busted out laughing. She said, it's okay. And she took a picture of something with her iPhone and put it on there. She and I have had this situation before where about 5 years ago when she wanted to open the coffee shop, and the coffee shop she had like 10 or 15 different fruit drinks and a bunch of teas and coffees, and she had foods and snacks, and she said, can you come down and take photos for me? I said, yeah, because I've been into digital photography for a long time. I brought my Nikon down and my remote flash and my umbrella and everything, and I spent all day. And she said, how much you want? I said, I don't want anything money-wise. Just let me eat this food that you made. She said, fine. So it's funny, Xiaohui did the same thing a couple years earlier. So I did all these photos. And when can I get them? I said, I'll give them to you next week. And I'll show them to you sometime. I don't have them handy right now. But I used, Lightroom. And I made sure that everything was photographed on a white plate with a neutral background. And I made the whole outside of the picture black. And so there's a white plate with a beautiful dish on it. And of course, it's HDR and it's, it looks fantastic. So she made this sign for her coffee shop. And it had none of my pictures on it. And they're all like just crappy. I mean, she took them with her iPhone. Well, when I was setting up and I'm using my umbrella and I'm taking, she's walking up and going, oh, that's cool, with her iPhone. She used those pictures. So I said, why? And she said, well, the sign guy said that there's too much black in your pictures. And I said, why didn't you tell me? Because I can easily make the black white or whatever color you want. Oh. So if you go to Winman's place on Google Maps and you look at the place on Google Maps, you'll see some of my photos that I took with the black background and stuff. I meant to upload the rest of them, but I just haven't done it. So with the deep fried chicken, she did not ask me to do the photos. She just asked me to do the translation of the words. So I did. And so it's really great. And in Chinese it says crispy skin deep fried chicken. And it was great. And then for some reason the girl quit. And nobody else wanted to run it. They had some Vietnam girl run it. And she kind of was like, not too good. And then this older guy comes in. His wife is Vietnamese. That's probably how he got the connection. And so when Winwin's really smart, she doesn't have any partners. She owns everything outright. She owns at least 3 businesses that I know. She owns a dumpling shop up on near the military base, and it's called a bafang. If you know that in Taiwan, we call it like a sui jiao and guo jie, this kind of stuff, and hot and sour soup and these things, right? And she just owns it outright. She just hires people to run it. Well, with this barbecue place next door, she just rents it out. You want this space? You can do whatever you want. Pay me so much money a month. She's really smart about it. She doesn't have to get involved. And there's no expenses. She's just renting it out. So this guy came in and he changed everything. And he's using some kind of sauce that Taiwanese people like and I don't like. And you know, it turns out, I mean, I've known the guy. He's really familiar. I'd seen him like a million times. And after I was there for 15 or 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, now I remember who you are, guys. I haven't seen him for like 10 or 12 years. Anyway, long story short, you know, he like had some chicken skin, and they put pieces that they'll cut like a square chicken skin, fold it up and put it on a stick, and then they've got like a stick of like maybe 20 pieces of chicken skin. And in my opinion, I've eaten lots of chicken skin. In my opinion, the only thing, you know, the only way to do it is to have it crispy. Because you go down to the Jar, which is that Southeast Asian store near my house. You guys know about that place too. Well, Jar has a bag, and it's kind of like pork rinds. It's deep fried chicken skins, man, and they're crunchy, and it's fantastic, and it's like oily and fatty and greasy, and it's incredible. But his stuff, it's chewy. When I was a kid, my mom cooked chicken, and she just boiled it. And I'm going to tell you that MJ does not like some chewy, rubbery, boiled chicken skin. And that's what these things tasted like. So right away, I'm like, oh, Winman, get the Hualien girl back, will you? I don't like, you know, the stuff here. But over time, he refined a lot of things. And I said to him once, can you make the chicken skin crispy for me? And he goes, yeah. And he just put them in the deep fryer for longer and did so. And then he realized I like spicy food, and he puts a lot of the cayenne pepper. He puts white pepper, and he puts cayenne pepper next to it too. And then he figured out that I like to eat peanuts. So he went down and bought a whole bunch of peanuts, and they're oil fried red skin peanuts. And he just gives them to me for free. It's like for nothing. I'm like, well, this guy's okay. And so I ended up, you know, eating there a lot. And you have seen me do dozens of late nights down there with him and hanging out. And sometimes he comes over and he watches Taiwan Live TV on YouTube. Sometimes I will be there streaming and I catch him, and he's got his phone. He's got the sound. He's got he's going like this because he's listening. He wants to hear the delay. It's kind of funny. And I see him going like this. He's looking. He's listening to me. And he can't read English, but he's watching the comments and stuff. It's pretty funny, actually. So, there's another thing, though. Because I got to tell you, even if I hated the food and just couldn't stand it, I really admire the guy, the person, for a couple reasons. I've seen him deal with customers, and he's very kind, but he's also really funny. I've seen him customers will come in and they're drinking some beer and they're eating some stuff that he's made and they're talking about things, and he'll just make some funny comment based on what they're saying, and I turned to him and I started like, wow, this guy's really funny. He's starting to start laughing. He's really funny. He does it to me too. And the other thing is that he has back problems, and he wears this back brace. And this back brace is like a Victorian corset, you know, combined with the Iron Maiden or something. It's got aluminum machined bars on the back, on the straps. This guy's got this thing, you know, just looks like a weightlifting belt, because he's so damaged that he has to hold the lordosis curve of his back exactly the right way, because if he bends over, then it starts hurting. But he's there, like, at least his wife starts early. Usually what happens is his wife comes in and starts preparing the food, and then he comes in and she leaves and goes to another job, and then comes back probably around 8 o'clock at night, and he's been working all that time. So he actually opens about 3 p.m. for business. But I've seen them in the morning at 10 o'clock in the morning making like bacon rolls and putting them on the sticks and making these chicken skins and all this stuff. These people, they work their fingers to the bone, and the profit isn't that high. So, you know, after I saw what he was doing, you know, I told my wife, I said, you know, I don't really like this guy's food all that much, but I got to tell you, he is probably one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. This guy, every penny, every cent, every Taiwan dollar that he makes, he earned it 100%. Nobody's given him anything. So you got to admire people like that. And so basically, now I've never had anything against him personally. He's funny, he's a cool guy, and he's always been nice to me. And you know, the thing too is sometimes I'll be there and I'll forget to take some money. I'll get there and I go, oh, let me run home. He goes, nah, just see me tomorrow or the next day. And so, I mean, how cool is that? And I've been living in this neighborhood for a long time. So pretty much almost anywhere I can just go in and grab something and go, I'll catch you later. I go to the Jar Jar store sometimes and there might be a line of 15 or 20 people. And I'll just tell the boss lady, I'll pay you later. And she just goes, okay, just gives me the nod. Okay, because they know, I'm going to come back. I come back and pay them, even for something like 5 NT, which is like 20 cents or something. I'll go back a couple days later and go, here's your 5 NT. And they're like, what? Oh, okay. So then they know, oh, I guess I can trust him, if you, for 100 NT or something like that. So character is everything. Reputation is everything, right? Now, he has been having some medical problems. And he's been in a lot of pain. He likes Gao Liang, which is a sorghum white liquor that they make in Asia, and primarily in Chinese-speaking societies, but in particular in Taiwan, especially in an island they call Jinmen, which is spelled K-I-N-M-E-N in English, but it's really pronounced Jinmen. And they make Gao Liang there, and they make a couple of different, alcohol levels. And in Chinese, we don't say like proof. Proof is weird. 80 proof is 40% alcohol. Why don't they just call it 40 proof then? Why don't they just make it the same? No, I don't get it. This comes from England and Scotland, hundreds of years ago. In Chinese, we say just degree. So if they say 40 degree, they'll say like 40度, or they might say, the 酒度, which is the alcohol content, They make a 38 degree and they make a 58 degree. So he drinks the 58. Most of the guys that I know that like Gao Liang drink 58. A couple of months ago, I was down in Kaohsiung. Guys, remember I was at that little place that was near the river. And I was hoping I could get some other kinds of liquor, but I just ended up getting some beer. And the boss is a big Gao Liang fan. He had some special kind of Gao Liang. He brought it out. It was 58. Guys may remember that. It's 58. I can drink it. It's okay. It's not aged in a cask. There's nothing. It's just distilled, but there's nothing, about that after, that's matured. See, this is the thing. You see, this is whiskey, and it's yellow. But this came from wood because just like the liquor that you guys saw that Andreas made for me, the turmeric and the cinnamon. Those are crystal clear. And whiskey is crystal clear because it's just been distilled. It gets its color from the maturation process. And like the Oloroso sherry or other wine casks will make it even red. All right, well, sorghum, Gao Liang is not aged in barrels, which I always thought it would be cool to take some and age it in a barrel and see what it tastes like. And even the rum that I drink is brown, and then sometimes they color it with molasses or something else, but that's even aged in an oak barrel, and that's why it has that color. But that's not, what they do with the sorghum. So this guy sits out here, and I just think I don't even know his name. I don't even know his family name. But he sits there, and he's in pain, working hard. But when he takes a break, he's got a little shot glass, and he just sips on the Gao Liang, and I know it's helping his pain. I see him standing up, and he's really rigid, and he kind of walks rigid and stuff. But he's got deep fried stuff. And oh, by the way, you guys know I work on a stool in the studio, and it's a springy stool. It's from IKEA, and the front, the whole thing can move like this, and I can move it up and down. It's great. And I can actually get to the point where I'm almost standing up, and being in the studio and working on these consoles and mixing, I don't have to be down on it, but it really helps a lot. But he's got deep fried, oil. He also has a gas grill. So if you bring him stuff, he'll do it to you. Say, hey, I caught a fish today, and he'll say, well, give it to me. So one day I went down there and I had a package of those Bavarian sausages. There's like 10 of them in a pack. They're really quite big. From Costco, because there's a company in Taiwan called Futong, and they make all kinds of Bavarian sausage and frankfurters and different kinds of meat products and processed meat products. They're pretty good. And I brought him down there and I said, can you cook a couple of these for me? And he said, yeah. And I thought he was going to put them in the grill. He didn't. He put them in the deep fryer, man. It's great. They busted open. There's oil on the inside. It's fantastic. He sliced them up. I was like, wow. So then he says, do you want me to keep the rest of these in the icebox? I'm like, yeah, go for it. So the next 3 or 4 times that I went there, I said, I want some bacon wraps. I want some of these and 2 of those. And he would do it. And he never charged me for any of that stuff, I remember I went there. I was in the mood for that Costco sausage, and I didn't get anything else from him. He pulled it out of the freezer, cooked those things, put it on the pan, put the salt and white pepper, and put the cayenne pepper down for me. Didn't charge me a darn thing. I was like, wow. I mean, how cool is that? Where do you go that they don't charge you anything? I don't know any place. You go in the States, and I don't really want to get something for free. I feel like I should pay them, and I don't want to try to get out of it. But it just, when I would do things in the States, like I would go to a place and take my bottle down from the bar. I got to have something with it. I got to have a mixer or something or whatever it is, and they might even just be a surcharge or something. But you got to have something, right? All right, so anyway, I know that was a really, really long answer, Dave, but he took a week off, and I asked when was he coming back, and she said it would be next week, and so next week will be, well, today's Sunday here, so it'll be tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm getting some acoustic panels that they make here in Taiwan, and they have a very high, I guess you call it an index. They actually have an R factor too, which, you would use for insulation, for like heating and cooling, and which is going to keep the studio temperature a little bit more even. I have a really big LG split system air conditioner and heater unit in here, and it can heat the top floor. If I want, I can open the door of the studio and heat the whole top floor, which is a good thing because it keeps a lot of the heat from the lower on in the house from going all the way up to the top. But anyway, I'm going to be putting these panels over the windows, and I expect it's going to lower the noise floor in here by at least 30 more dB, which is what I need, because every once in a while you can hear some of the louder cars. A couple of years ago, I had ripped out all the windows in the second and third floor and put sound reducing glass in, and I just never did it on the top floor. I probably should have by now, but I didn't. Ken, fist bump. We'll see you next time. I think it's time for me to say good night. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a while since besides being on Haps, it's kind of a disaster there, and I really appreciate you sticking with me, and I'm sorry about that, but it's been a while since I've done like an in-studio broadcast, using the big, beautiful condenser mic, which I love, and because I love the little window and the tube showing through it, which is really amazing. I suppose I could turn it around so you could see the window and then talk off the back of the mic on another pattern, or put it on Omni pattern, but I just don't want to do that. But yeah, I will see you guys on my usual Thursday, if not before that. I did have some things that I wanted to talk about, on the Halves broadcast. The pilot that violated the law started, the first case of local transmissions here in Taiwan. He's been fined 300,000 NT dollars. He was fired from EVA Airlines. EVA Airlines was fined he was fined 300,000 NT, and EVA Airlines was fined 1 million NT. And then another woman who came back from the Philippines broke her self-management period after the 14 days and went out and had hot pot and got fined, for that. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. We may actually end up, unfortunately, having some community spread here in Taiwan, which I'm not real happy about, but that's just the way it is. So I want to thank everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time on Taiwan Live TV. And until then, please, whatever you do, just please be safe, and use your head, and don't do any goofy stuff. And seriously, contact tracing is very important. Don't lie about it, because the pilot got in trouble because he lied. He was with a woman and he didn't want to tell people what he was doing. I don't know if he's doing anything wrong or not. Doesn't matter to me, but the fact is it made contact tracing so much more difficult. And in a case like this, you really have to be forthcoming, because people's lives are involved. Thanks, Dave. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Matthew. It's been fun, man. I like it. So, Dave, we're going to have you on again real soon, and with this platform, with the PRISM Live Studio on PC, we can bring in the other sources like Skype or Zoom, which would be really nice. So I'd like to do that. Maybe we can have a couple friends on with Zoom. That'd be great. So you guys take care so much, and we'll see you next time. This is MJ Klein signing off for Taiwan Live TV. Have a good night. Bye bye.